Have you ever tried to kick a really destructive habit and you haven't had much luck? In fact, you may still be trying to battle with that habit. Well, there's probably quite a bit more to it than you think. So watch this clip, it could be really beneficial to you. Obviously, if you're going to overcome a habit, it all starts with a thought. And sometimes these thoughts can be really overpowering because you've wanted to give up this habit for such a long time, but you've never had the courage to get to it, or you've never had the self-discipline to get into it. So by doing this clip, I hope to show you another angle you need to look at that'll really help you knock over your biggest goal, like beating that biggest habit that's really riding you around like a monkey on your back. For me, probably one of the hardest habits has been drinking, extremely heavy drinking. So I'm going to use that as a bit of an example for this clip. I don't want you to think that's the only habit you need to overcome, or that I lean in that direction solely. There's millions of different things people need to overcome to move forward in their life. But I'm pretty passionate about the drinking side of things because it was quite a big challenge for me. So I'm going to use this for this clip. Now, after we've had the thought of the fact that we need to give something up or break some habit, we need to set the foundations in our mind. A lot of people just have the thought and get stuck straight into it, and they last about a day or two or a week or maybe a month at best. This isn't good enough. We're talking about a life-changing process here. We're talking about changing a habit that could possibly change your life for the better in ways that you could not imagine. And that's not a small feat. So the purpose of this video is to teach you, probably to make it a little bit more evident to you that there's a lot more to it, and the power of the mind, and how to set the basic foundations and have a bit of a laugh about it at the same time. Now, the first step, the thing we need to firstly understand if we're going to take on a challenge of overcoming a big habit, like I've been talking about, is we need to understand the little conversations we have with ourselves in our head. Now, everybody thinks that they're the only person that does this. They have this private little world where they continuously chat to themselves all day long, or I should say not them, we chat to ourselves all day long. Well, everyone does this. We're continuously chatting ourselves in our head all day long, having little conversations. We're our best friend. We know ourselves the best. We have little secrets. We discuss things with ourselves, or we suggest things to ourselves that we would never suggest to anyone else. So I just need to make you open your minds up and think about how many conversations you have with yourself. In fact, you're chatting to yourself all day long inside your head. It's almost like there's another little person in there, another little person that you talk to. Now, once you've had a little bit of a think and you've realised that, hey, yeah, I do have little conversations with myself, it's time to take the next step and realise that we've got a bit of a dark side, a hidden dark side there, or as some people would say, a shadow. And this is a little corner of our mind that we definitely keep to ourselves. We don't really show much of this to anyone else. So we're living behind this bit of a mask of who we are, but deep down inside us, we've got this little person we have conversations with, and there's a little bit of a dark side in there as well. Now, this is really starting to set the foundations now of where we need to get our understanding. If we're really going to knock this habit on the head, we need to understand these little conversations we have and really understand this dark side. And now I'm going to show you, I'll set the scene and show you a little bit of what I mean about the conversations we can have with this dark side. Okay, now firstly, to set the scene a little bit for you, what I'm going to do is do a little bit of a role play here. So like I said earlier, I'm going to focus on myself giving up alcohol here. Now, I tried for years to give up alcohol. Like every now and then I'd have a little conversation with myself in my head and say, oh, I've got to give this stuff up, or next week I'm going to give this stuff up. And you know, it was a consistent battle until I finally knocked it over. So what I want to do, let's just, in this little role play, let's pretend I've just given up alcohol, and I'm going to show you how this little dark side you've got hidden in your head works, and the little voices the little conversations you have with this dark side that make it so hard to give up. And the point I'm trying to show you here is why we try and give up stuff all the time and we fail. I'm not saying everybody fails, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Quite often we'll try and give something up and last a day or two or a week or a month. In this little role play, I'll sort of show you a week, and then I want to show you how to manage this little dark voice in your head and how you can really tackle that habit and take it on, hit it head on and knock it over. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so it's Monday. The time has come. You've been having these conversations in your head now about giving up. You've tried several times over the years and you haven't had any success. But this time's different. You've had a guts full of this. And in this case, we're talking about drinking. And you're going to give up. And you bounce out of bed and you're saying to yourself, this is it. I'm pumped. I don't drink anymore. That drinking, it's ridiculous. It's been dragging me down for all those years. It's time to change. It's time to get my life on track. I feel great. Okay? And you trot off to work. And you can't help yourself. You feel so good. And you're saying to your workmates, I'm off the grog. I don't drink anymore. I feel fantastic already. Now, they're all doubting you because they know what you're like, but you're so confident in yourself. It's probably a smart move to keep it to yourself at this early stage. So anyway, you're working away and you're just having these little chats all day with yourself because it's all you really think about. And you just keep reinforcing it in your mind and saying, this is great, I'm off it, I'm finally off it, this is fantastic. And then, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the little dark side pops up in your head and it'll say something like, oh well, I guess we finish work and we trot off to the bottle shop, old fella, what do you reckon? And you say, nah, I don't drink anymore. Why would I go to the bottle shop? I'm alcohol free now, I don't drink. The dark side, what? But we go there every night. You have to drink. You'd be mad not to drink. Everybody drinks. And you say, no, not me. You're still full of confidence. Day one, you're still really positive. You find it starting to find it a little bit tricky, but you've got that initial push to keep you going. Anyway, you jump in the car. The dark side's saying, come on, just around the corner. The bottle shop's just around the corner. Pull in. And you manage to drive past and get home. When you get home, you make yourself a drink of some sort, non-alcoholic, just to get that, to fill that habit that you're used to, drinking all the time. And you get a little bit snappy around the family and you're starting to get a little bit edgy. And this dark side saying, I knew you should have went to that bottle shop. You should have went. Anyway, easy way to solve this. Go to bed. Once you go to bed and you manage to get to sleep, the day's done and you haven't had a drink. So you take that option. You go to bed, you manage to get to sleep, and you've done day one. Okay? Been a success. Okay, let's skip to Wednesday. So you get up in the morning and you're starting to feel pretty good and you're feeling quite positive because the dark side sleeps in. You don't see the dark side that often in the morning and you're feeling quite positive. You've done another night, you've done Monday night, Tuesday night without alcohol and you're feeling quite good. You have a nice breakfast and you trot off to work again and your workmates are saying, how's the non-drinking thing going? You're saying, no problem. It's all good. It's great, My life has opened up. Everything's opened up. It's fantastic. Mind you, it's only a couple of days in. But you're so used to drinking all the time that that's such a big move for you. You're still really pumped and really excited. And then 4 o'clock comes around. Well, maybe a little bit earlier because it's hump day. It's Wednesday. And the dark side pops up and says, oh, this is getting a bit crazy. You've had a pretty big couple of days at work. You really need a drink. And you say to it, no, I'm off the alcohol. I don't drink anymore. Come on, it's hump day. Like, it's almost the weekend. You have to have a drink today. No, I don't drink. I'm not going to drink anymore. Anyway, you manage to power through again. But the dark side gets a bit heavier towards the end of the day. So you're driving out of town. Come on, big fella, the bottle shop's just here. We have to go there. It's hump day, like it's the middle of the week. Everybody drinks in the middle of the week. Everybody. Who are you? You're crazy. Are you weak? Get to the bottle shop and get a drink. Oh no, I don't drink anymore. And you're starting to show the signs of weakness. Anyway, this night you get home. You're extremely snappy with the family. The dark side's at you all night saying, you could duck down to the bottle shop before dinner. I mean, the night's not over yet. You're wasting valuable drinking time. Get down there. And you're like, no, I don't drink. And You're getting very snarly, so once again, off to bed, off to sleep, the day's done. So you've done 3 days without alcohol. Okay, now it's time for some fun. Let's have a look at Thursday. Okay, you wake up Thursday morning and you're feeling really good. And the reason for this is because you're taking on one of the biggest challenges you could take on in your life, and you're succeeding. So you're starting to get little dopamine rushes and you're starting to feel fantastic about yourself, okay? But in the back of your mind, you know things are still going to be really tough, but you're really taking it on. You're hitting your problem. You're taking on this challenge head on, and you're having a couple of little wins, and you're starting to feel fantastic. So in the morning, you're bubbling and you're really happy. And then lunchtime comes around, and someone at work might be chatting about how they're going out Thursday night, a couple of drinks, and you're working away thinking, oh yeah, I don't drink. I'll get through again tonight. I know Thursday nights it's getting pretty close to the weekend, but I'm fine. Anyway, just after lunch, up pops the dark side. What are you doing, you fool? You have to drink tonight. It's Thursday. No, not drinking. I'm sticking to my plan. I've been feeling fantastic. Get to the bottle shop tonight. You have to drink on a Thursday night. Everybody does. No. And once again, you managed to get past that bottle shop. You're very edgy that night, but you've got through another night. Congratulations, you're kicking goals. But off to bed early tonight. It's the only way to shut your mind down and forget about the drinking. So off to bed and concentrate on the weekend. Okay, you wake up, it's Friday morning. You're feeling fantastic. In fact, you bounce out of bed and go for a walk. Your new life is just incredible. No alcohol, you're walking in the morning, you're starting to feel fit, you feel really, really well. It's incredible how quick the change has happened. You bounce off to work, your friends are commenting, your workmates are commenting how you've done the whole week without alcohol and how good you are. You're feeling great, the dopamine's buzzing. Life couldn't be any better. You have your lunch break, and after lunch, the dark side appears. It's just got out of bed, and it says something along the lines of, wow, you're doing a great job. Have a look at yourself. You look so well already. Maybe just have a couple tonight. And you're thinking to yourself, oh no, a couple would be nice, but I don't drink anymore and I've done the whole week. Surely I can get through the weekend. Ah, rubbish, says the dark side. Just have a couple. What's a couple going to do? You don't have to drink after that, just 2 tonight, and then you're back off it again. So all afternoon, this argument goes on. No, I'm not drinking. I can't. I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I did it. I've put all this hard work in. Ah, hard work. You're a pussy. Get down to the bottle shop. Just 2 beers. All Aussies drink every day. You're not an Aussie unless you drink. What would your friends think if you went to a party and you didn't have a beer? Yeah, I guess you're right. Everyone does sort of drink. I'm a bit of an outlier, aren't I, if I don't drink? Come on. That's it. That's the way to think. Just a couple. And then off it again tomorrow, just tonight to relax. You've had a big week at work. So you finish work and you jump in your car. Come on, big boy, just around the corner to the bottle-o. It's a no-brainer. Friday nights you have to drink. Oh, all right, just 2. Okay, I'll just have the 2 and then I'll be back off it again tomorrow, okay? The next thing you find yourself at the door of the bottle-o. And the dark side saying, come on in, I'll take you by the hand and I'll show you where the beers are and I'll just help you grab just 2. But just remember, we're off it again tomorrow. Now, the dark side has a best friend, and it's called marketing. Now, I love marketing. I'm obsessed with marketing. And good marketers understand psychology, and they know how your little voices work inside your head. So when you get down to the beer fridge, you're going down to buy your 2, the dark side pops up and says, look, half a dozen beers, it's a lot cheaper than buying 2. If you buy 2, it costs you a fortune. Why don't you buy 6? Just have the 2 tonight and leave the 4 in the fridge in case you have visitors. Oh, that's a good idea. But then the marketers have been there before you, and there's a little ticket that says you can have 8, even cheaper than the 6. Whoa, the dark side loves this. Look at this. Grab 8. Look at the price. You were going to buy 2 and then 6, but it works out a hell of a lot cheaper to buy 8. Now you're saving money as well as giving up alcohol because we're not drinking again tomorrow. So you'll just have the 2 tonight, and then you've got 6 in the fridge for visitors and that when they come. It'll be fantastic. And you're like, oh yeah, okay. So you grab the 8 and you trot on out of the store. Now you've got these mixed emotions going on. You've got a little bit of guilt, but the dark side's won you over and you're thinking, you've got yourself convinced that you're only going to have the 2 tonight, and then you back off them again, okay? And the other 6 are staying in the fridge for the visitors. Okay, so now it's game on. You've got your beers. You're only going to have the 2 and leave the others in the fridge, and you scoot on home. And you walk into the house. You're feeling a slight bit of guilt, but the dark side's really, really tricked you into it here, and it has got you thinking, oh no, it's fine. I'm only having the 2. So you're managing to cover up that little bit of guilt quite nicely. And you walk into the house, and there's your partner or somebody who lives at your home, and they look at you and say, oh, I thought you were off the grog. And the bullshit just takes over, and you start saying, oh, no, it's Friday night. Part of my rules is I'll just have 2 on the Friday night, and then I'll be back off it again, and bullshit. Anyway, you convince them, and then you rip the top off one, and you start cooking dinner, and life's great, and everything starts to relax, and then you're into the second one, and the dark side's having a party in your head going, oh yeah, this tastes good. This is how we're meant to be living, big fella. Couple of beers, couldn't be better. Friday night, this is being an Aussie. This is life. Anyway, you finish the second beer, and the dark side realises this, and it says, shit, that's the second beer. That's all we're going to have, isn't it? But hang on, you got a few more in the fridge. Just one more. Just make it 3. Just make it 3, big fella, and then you're off it tomorrow. Oh, by this point, your brain's numb. It's all started to shut down. You're feeling ultra relaxed, and you agree and say, okay, just one more, and then I'm done. Next thing, you're sitting on a chair in front of the telly, and you're just staring at it blankly because you've drank all 8 beers, and the dark side's kicking back like it's on a tropical holiday going, yeehaw! That's it, cowboy. We've nailed the beers. I feel great. This is where we're meant to be at. Loving life. And you're just staring at the box like this. Oh, yeah. And everything's so numb. You can't even feel any guilt. The day's great. You're finished. You've got no problems, no worries. The drug has worked a treat. And you're living the dream. But you have to wake up the next morning with yourself. So you open your eyes at first light the next morning and you've got a cranking headache. Because you haven't drank all week, your body has started to dry out a little and the alcohol has gone straight through your system and you've got a bit of a hangover after the 8 beers. And you feel like a cat has crapped in your mouth and you've been smacked over the head with a brick. Now you're just laying there staring at the roof thinking, what have I done? Here I go again. I am so weak. All the nice little highs from taking on the challenge have gone. You're back to square one. Your dark side's sound asleep with a big smile on its face next to you, like dreaming about all the beers that you had the night before, and you're really not dealing with stuff. You drag your ass out of bed. You don't even bother about going for a walk. You're so depressed and down and out. And you just mope around all day. You've got a headache. You don't even go and have a surf, which you love to do because you just feel like crap. You are back in the cycle. So then, after lunch, your headache's starting to go. The dark side pops up and goes, oh, good morning, big guy. How did you wake up? It's Saturday. You're pretty well drinking again now. May as well duck down to the bottle-o and it's a lot cheaper to buy a box. And then you've got them. you've lost your little challenge. You may as well just get back on it. You're like, oh no, I promised myself I wasn't going to go there again. And before you know it, you're at the door of the bottle shop, being guided in. The dark side's got you by the hand. And he's got you in the fridge looking at all the specials. And you're given up again, and you're like, yeah, well, shit, I feel like death. I may as well just have another couple of beers and maybe I'll give up again in a couple of weeks and have another crack. How depressing. What a horrible time that is when you fail for another time. Now, there is a way that you can nail this dark side. Let me give you a couple of little pointers. Okay, so I hope I've touched a spot here with you in your mind. I hope I've got your cogs ticking over and you're starting to, maybe some of you may have had a bit of a laugh about that because some of it might have been a little bit familiar. It's very common. Giving up, changing a habit or starting a new, healthier habit is really tricky. And we need to understand these little conversations we've had and understand this dark side as step one. Now, step two, this is something I really would recommend. And this is a technique that I used. Now, I meditate every morning and I will be holding meditation classes and stuff at my studio to help people along when I finally get everything kicked off and running. But as part of my meditation program, when I was initially giving up the alcohol for the last time, I started to understand this dark side, and I listened to a few psychologists talk about this dark side, and I got a little bit of an understanding about mine, and I decided to go and visit my dark side. So during my meditation, I just went back and got really deep, like sat down with my eyes closed, and I went really deep into some of the worst times I've had with alcohol, and I've got numerous. You know, there might be times when you've mucked up at a party and you wake up the next day and you can't remember anything, and then you start to hear stories about what you've done. You can't face people for a couple of weeks. You know, it's the absolute pits. Or there might be a time when you pass out at a party and you wake up the next day somewhere laying in the sun and you've got to walk home with this cranking headache and you don't really know what's happened, and just revisit all of those times. Now, your mind tends to wipe a lot of those out because it doesn't want to give up drinking. So it just wants to take you on the good times. So you need to sit down and shut your eyes and go right back, and you'll find incidences that you've sort of forgotten about and just really relive them in your mind. Now, this can even bring up tears. It can really play with your emotions. So tread carefully in here, but this is what gives you the fuel to keep going, to ignore the voice of the dark side. So that'll give you fuel to keep going for another week or so. And then when you're starting to feel weak, go back in there, really visit that dark side. Go to the places that really hurt you and really keep positive on your journey of breaking this habit. It works really well. Now, hopefully I've explained this well enough for you. I just want to I haven't had a drink now for about 3 years. I'm feeling fantastic. I'm super fit. Life couldn't be better. I could not imagine having a drink again. But I had a little incident recently where I'm always been a bit of a Metallica fan. Being a guitarist myself, I've really liked Metallica, and it came to my attention when I was giving up alcohol that James Hetfield, the singer, had a massive alcohol problem, and it was really, like alcohol does, it destroys everything around you. It was starting to destroy the band, and he managed to give it up. Now, I saw him in an interview. I think the interview was 2 or 3 years ago with Joe Rogan, and he was talking about how he'd been sober 15 years, and they went quite into depth about his habit and how debilitating it was and how it wrecked his relationship with his wife, and he lost his kids, and how he'd been sober for 15 years and managed to rebuild everything. Anyway, just recently, maybe a couple of months ago, I was talking to a friend of mine from Lakes Entrance who had tickets to go and see Metallica in October. And we were chatting down at the lake one morning after a paddleboarding session, and he said to me, Oh, I just got an email this morning from our ticket company who we bought our Metallica tickets off, and they've had to cancel. It was a letter written by all the band members apologising to all the fans because they had decided, or well, they were forced to cancel their concert because James Hetfield had gone back into rehabilitation because he was back on the grog and he was no good. And I was just gutted. I don't know why. I'm not close to this guy, or it just really smacked me in the guts. And it made me realise how fragile we are, how fragile our minds are, and how powerful this dark side is. After 15 years, or probably more like 18 years at this point, he got back on the grog and he's back in rehab. He's still fighting. He went back to square one after 18 years. It really dented me that hard that I sat down the next day in my meditation and I went back to that old process and I gutted myself with old memories of me drinking. It scared me that much about how easy it is to get back there into this bad place. So I went back and I visited it, and I spent about 45 minutes to an hour just in deep thought, just about all my very, very worst drinking times, and it really made me feel crap, and it gave me this new sense, this new lease of life, like I just cannot go past back there. And then I finish off the session by thinking about how far I've come since I got off the grog, how good I'm feeling, how fit I'm feeling, and I came out of that meditation session just with this new lease of life. But I'm also really mindful about how fragile we are. Like, God, I could go back there at any moment just with the slightest bit of temptation if I'm with the wrong person at the right time, or I don't know, anything could happen. So you've just got to keep that mindful, keep that in your mind. Be really mindful about your thoughts. Be really mindful about the dark side. Now, at where I'm at the moment, I've pretty well got the dark side like this. He's sitting there in my mind like this. This guy's winning. I can't beat him. He's too strong. And that's where I want to keep it. The moment he starts to raise his ugly head, I'll go back in and I'll get into that mindset of look where you used to be and really reinforce that. And that's my way of saying staying strong. So hopefully this has helped you. If you need more help, I can help you. I'm in the process of just about being up and running, and I've got a hell of a lot more tips that I can guide you along with, because this is a really tough thing. Now, there's a lot of other habits too that are challenges just as big as this, like smoking or losing weight or getting fit is another thing. We can use this same process for so many things. The first step, the most important step, is understand these little conversations we have in our head, and understand that you've got this little tempting dark side that's at you all the time. Start to be a bit mindful. Start to learn how your mind works, and hopefully your life can move ahead in leaps and bounds like mine has. Okay, thanks for watching this very long clip, but I thought this was a really, really meaningful one that you could get a lot out of. See you next time.